It was about 10 years ago. I was really struggling to find myself as an artist. I was struggling to stand out in a crowd of really amazing music in the industry. And I found that a lot of my music was a little bit flat. It was a little bit stale, and I wasn't being as innovative and creative as I could be. So one particular night, I took a night to myself and I just put on some headphones and I listened to some of my favorite tracks. What makes this music so good? What makes it great? Why do I like this music so much? And all of a sudden, with one particular song, it hit me like a ton of bricks. This particular track had such a raw groove and chunk and width to it. And I didn't know how this artist was doing it until this night. It wasn't the bass line, it wasn't the kick, it wasn't the melody or the hypnotic vocal. It was a clap that came resonating in. And all of a sudden I realized this technique, which was so blatantly obvious once you knew it was there, was the difference between a good track and a great track. And so I want to dive into this technique because I think it's really going to help you take your percussion up a notch, and it's going to give you this organic width and depth to your music. And it's so simple. We're going to start with claps, just like I heard in that track that night. So we have a basic kick going on here, and we're going to add a clap channel. I want to find two claps that are similar but have their own characteristic. So we have clap one. I like that one. And I like these two. They're similar, but they're still different. We're going to start a new clap sequence here, a new loop. And I'm going to go ahead and just layer these claps in. This is pretty much the most standard clap location. And I've layered them on the grid. Okay. And for the most part, this is where most artists end up just leaving their claps. It's cool. It's layered. It's simple. Okay? At the end of the day, that sounds like a fine clap, but it doesn't stand out and it's not adding any depth to your track. So what I heard that night in this track was the separation that this artist used by doing something so easy, but it just takes a little bit more time to accomplish. What I encourage you to do is actually take these claps and start to pull them off the grid so that each time these claps hit, they're hitting just ever so slightly, milliseconds off. And so you get a different kind of clap each time those two samples hit. Which in reality, if you have two people clapping at the same time on a stage, they're never going to hit twice the same way. So this actually gives it a more natural, organic feel as what a clap would actually be doing. Now we're going to take it one step further, and we're really going to push the limits on the depth and width of this track. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this first clap and I'm going to pan this left, and I'm going to take the second clap and I'm going to pan it right. And what will end up happening is you're going to get a little slap back and forth. It's a little panning effect between these two claps. Already, we've got a more natural clap. We've got a wider, more organic feel of what claps should actually sound like in electronic music. And if you didn't know that it was happening, it would just blend into the track. You wouldn't actually know that the artist took the time to separate those sounds. You wouldn't know that the artist took the time to separate the panning of each of those samples. We're going to take it one step further now, and we're going to add another MIDI channel. And we're going to add another impulse instrument. And this time we're going to do it with hi-hats. So we're going to pick a couple of hi-hats. Same idea. Okay, this time 3 hi-hats. I like these. They're similar, but they've got their own characteristics to it. And we're going to go in and we're going to layer in 3 hi-hats. And this will sound just fine if you want to leave it like this. normal hi-hat. But it's this attention to detail where you go in and you start to manipulate every single one so that the hats never hit the same way twice. This is what's going to create that separation in sound, and it's really going to make your track sound different from everybody else's. It's going to give it more of a pro feel to it. The trick is that this takes time sometimes, and as artists, we struggle sometimes to just get to the creative stuff, and we don't want to stop to pay attention to details like this. But I promise you, it's this attention to detail that's going to make your music sound great. Here it's got a little panning back and forth now. Now your hi-hats are uniquely your own. And I might even, if I really want to go the extra step, I might actually take these and duplicate them and make a longer loop out of them. And I would do this again. I would move these so that they're different from the first series, right? The more time you spend on these details, the more your track starts to sound more unique and more real. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this little lesson here. I think if you start to use this in your own music, your music's going to really start to push the limits on real, natural, organic, flowing sounds. And remember, just take that extra time and you're going to really stand out in the crowd. I hope you like this tip, and I hope it's going to help take your music to the next level. I'll see you on the next video.